Hello mein Freund, willkommen zurück. The German on this TTS voice sucks, therefore let's stick to English. Welcome back to Tomahawk. Today we are gonna review the Leopard 120. The Leopard 120 is everything that's currently wrong with this world. The 120 in Leopard is like 120 kilometers an hour that Germany would suddenly start enforcing on the autobahn. It is just impossible to conceive. Yet here we are. At tier 11 this is like a modern car. It is all fancy with gimmicks and computers. The manufacturer calls it an upgrade, but actually starting cost cutting like crazy. It is like the upgrade from a Volkswagen Golf Mark 7 to a Golf Mark 8. Remember soft plastics and premium interiors? Well, it sucks to suck. Here's some buggy software, hard plastics, and say goodbye to the gas struts on your bonnet. That is basically what the Leopard 120 is. It looks good, but it is an all-around downgrade tier 4 tier compared to the Leopard 1. That buggy software manifests itself on the analog computer that is supposed to enhance the stabilization and dispersion of your shots. This only triggers if you drive 30 kilometers an hour or less, basically against city policies of changing speed limits from 50 to 30. You get fined if you drive too fast. The base accuracy is worse than the Leopard 1 and even fully upgraded can barely come close. As compensation you get a little bit more alpha damage. Trust me, with the stabilization enabled, you sometimes connect the most ridiculous shots, but certain hits still fly off into nirvana. On paper it all sounds amazing, but in practice it just disappoints. There, I said it. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. You play the Leopard like a sniper at all times. You are a large tank and will be spotted as soon as you fire normally. However, your mobility allows you to get out of tricky situations and build distance between yourself and the opponent. This leads to that even certain losses can still grant you a personally good game. You can always farm damage at the end. That is of course good for increasing your stats, as the true wannabe Unicum that you are. The Leopard should only be used for brawling in case you are teamed up with other teammates. Remember what I said in the guide for the Leopard 1. Be like that wannabe tough guy that only has a loud mouth when his friends are around. This holds true for this tank as well. Please do not sleep on the high explosive shells. They have 110mm of penetration and can basically boost your DPM like crazy if you meet the right targets, but don't go overboard, as you will see later on in this video. It can cost you your life. The Leopard 120 has one very annoying feature that can bug the average wannabe Unicum. Normally when parking on a dodgy spot, I like to reverse into it so I can quickly get away when getting spotted. However, the designers felt it necessary to make a huge bulge in the rear where the engine sits. Basically like an ass with a hemorrhoid. You can even cosplay as you fart and make it sound like an engine. Choo choo, I'm a Leopard 120. What I'm trying to say is that your gun is super happy since it cannot get depressed enough over the engine deck. Me however, I'm a sad panda because of this. In the sniper role, you do not take any unnecessary risks, like Tomahawk buying obscure cryptocurrencies and losing 90% of it in the first 3 months. You wait for the battlefield to clear up so that spaces become playable for you. It is basically like driving on the autobahn. You are not gonna go full blast when there are trucks all over the road. Once the third lane opens you floor it and start exploiting the enemy's rear. You stay more patient than someone in hospital. Let others make the mistakes, so you can 360 no-scope them from distance as soon as they show their faces. This is what I meant earlier, that you suck at brawling. At tier 11, some tanks are not a joke and will RDPM you like crazy. As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter, as some tier 9s even eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? No.
And then the noob Tomahawk has HE loaded since he wants to boost his DPM, but then gets outplayed because he thought the BC was already out of ammo. What a pleb. Being the Leopard 120 is a bit like being a sports fan in the stadium. You can cheer your team on, but you don't have an awful lot to contribute to the victory yourself. Basically when the game is slowly going over and the battle is won, the players invite you on the battlefield to shoot at the enemy's goal, so you also got the feeling you are a part of it. The Leo is in its current form just not fit to being a tier 11. It is more like a tier 10A. The tank can still have its moments, but cannot decide a game just by itself. When you are top tier, it doesn't mean anything, as literally all tanks that you will face will penetrate you. Oh, I almost forgot, even the non-existent armor is worse than the Leo 1. The Leo 1 can still block shots on its mantlet sometimes. Due to the different shape of this mantlet, that strong point is not there anymore either. More cost savings for you. Yet, weirdly enough, I somehow still enjoy playing this tank and hope that Wargaming will buff it at some point. You could call me a masochist. The speed is awesome. The flexibility to switch places and go sightseeing, the comfortable gun handling, are all points where this tank shines. With this tank and its flaws, I deemed it pointless to be a wannabe Unicum, and decided to set up the tank as I like to play it. Remember, it is your game. Don't let anyone tell you how to play World of Tanks. In the end it is about having fun. This is my setup. I select a CVS, so I can see dodgy motherfuckers at the edge of my view range in their bushes. I select a turbo to be even faster, and go near to 80 km an hour downhill, and an aiming device, so I get close to the Leopard 1's accuracy. Taking a rammer on this tank could help. However, you cannot speed up the stabilization even more. Your gun is just not that great when not fully zoned into the stabilization. Also note that in my setup you make use of the boosted scouting and mobility equipment slots and get better performance out of them. However, some try-hard players go for the following setup. They take events, a rammer and a stabilizer. It's just like German beer. Some of them like lager and I like Weizenbier. There's enough for everyone. Then we come to a new matter, upgrades. Your focus should be to get the time of the stabilization down and the speed limit up. Furthermore, you focus on the shell damage, shell penetration and the aim time. This tank is all about the gun. For shells you select a healthy dose of APCR, since their speed will work well with your sniper role. Use the heat to break up relationships with heavily armored targets, and use HE on shit barns, bat chats and light tanks. The crew skills are straightforward too. You want to focus on brothers in arms, camouflage, and repairs. You never want to get caught in the open, since that is a free ticket back to the garage. After that, intuition is a must, so you can ninja switch to HE when necessary. Take the view range perks next and the gun handling perks on driver and gunner. Everything you do should focus on keeping that gun singing and singing where it hits. Be a mosquito in someone's bedroom at night that they cannot find, and annoy the living hell out of them with laser shots that connect from distance. The Leopard 120 is definitely not an easy tank. Treat it as your first girlfriend. You don't really know where to touch it to get it to work, but try out some things, fail, and try again. Find your personal G-spot where you feel comfortable. It is definitely not the best tank out there, and in its current state I can basically not recommend it. Let me introduce a new metric to the wannabe Unicum guides, the Tomahawk enjoyment rating. I currently rank this tank 3.6 stars. Not great, not terrible. The propaganda number. This is how you play the Leopard 120. This is the somewhat correct way. Go out there and be disappointed at how some obvious shots miss, and be amazed at how the most ridiculous shots connect. Thank you for watching, you German tank lovers. I hope you liked it. Expect a new guide somewhere in December. It may even look like you are getting a third video this year. Christmas is early. Please like, subscribe and watch some more brain rot down below. For now, thank you and fuck off.